All right, let's get into Patrick Mahomes. Let's talk about him. What's he going to do against this Steelers defense? Mahomes, one of the more interesting guys to talk about. I love watching his film. It's so very much looking forward to this video. Should mention, though, this is the second part of a two-part video series where I talked about the other side of the football, the Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers offense going up against the Chiefs defense. If you want to check that one out, it's on this channel. You don't have to watch that one to watch this one, but if you're interested in this half of the ball, probably interested in the other half of the ball anyway as well. So figured to let you know about that. But anyways, let's talk about this game. And the first thing we should do is talk about the first time these two teams played. So these were Mahomes' numbers, very good numbers, clearly 30 attempts, 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Kansas City also ran the ball well with Darrell Williams. He had 11 carries, 55 yards, so that's obviously 5 yards per carry. Derek Gore, not quite as much. Also, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not quite as much. Worth mentioning, though, there is a bit of an asterisk of some of those rushes came when basically it was clear that they were going to run the ball and try to kill the clock in, the second quarter, basically. I mean, not exactly, but that's kind of how the game went. Although interesting, just showed a couple of receivers here, kind of the most notable ones. Byron Pringle did have a big day, but other than that, not a lot of receivers. In fact, Derek Gore was their next leading receiver. So even though they had a ton of offensive output, it wasn't exactly like one receiver going off. Anyways, let's go over here now. So this is the PFF grades from every player who played on the Kansas City Chiefs offense in that game. So at the top of the list, Creed Humphrey, he's at the top of a lot of lists. Very good. Mahomes is number 4 there. He's also at the top of a lot of lists. He's very good as well. Kind of what you would expect. Byron Pringle is up there. McCole Hardman is up there. A lot of offensive linemen very high. And you look at the bottom, I mean, a lot of these guys that are at the bottom were just guys who played a few snaps. I mean, most of these starters had good days. Meanwhile, for the Steelers defense, a little bit interesting. I mean, they had a few guys who had good days, right? Minka Fitzpatrick had a good day, according to PFF. Witherspoon had a good day in a relatively limited role in this one. Alex Highsmith played pretty well. Joe Schobert played pretty well. You also go over and look towards the bottom. Not like anything that insane here, I don't think. Probably the most notable other player that I thought about is at number 12 in this ranking, TJ Watt. He didn't have his best day in this one, so relatively solid pass rush grade with 61.6, but for him, that's a horrible day. He's used to way better than that, and also didn't do the best in run defense in this game. He had a limited role in this one as well. So maybe getting him to a bigger role and getting him in position where, he can be typical TJ Watt, that should make an impact. All right, let's get into the film, and let's start things off with this play. So it's going to be zone coverage, and it's a pretty simple style of route. You're having a player run over the middle. This is a tight end, and basically you just wait until he gets into a gap in coverage and then throw the ball. Pretty simple play for Patrick Mahomes. And watch how right when this play begins, it's going to be even more simple for Mahomes because you see that there's just a wide open window for him to make this throw. I mean, look how open that window is here. And this is the kind of thing and this is, I think, the concern for Pittsburgh is I don't know what they do here because I don't think they can play man. I don't think they can man up against these speedy Kansas City receivers. I don't think that's an option. I also don't think that you can, blitz too much. We all know about how Mahomes crushes the blitz. You don't want to blitz too much, even though Pittsburgh, they do like to blitz. Although not as much this year. In years past, they've been known for blitzing, but this year they're kind of around the middle of the road. Wonder how much of that is they don't cover as well this year as they have in years past. So if you're blitzing, you have to be able to cover, and they haven't done a great job there. But it's kind of like, well, then what do you do? Because as you see, Mahomes makes his throw. This is too easy. But if you just play this cover 3 zone, which on paper is probably the correct, play to consistently play, well, then it's going to be so easy for Kansas City to just tear you apart. So what else can you do? I mean, like, something like this is a great example where what's going to happen here is it's, again, zone coverage. You're going to have Tyreek Hill just run out to the flat on the top of the screen, and basically he's just going to be open. Watch, Mahomes takes the snap, he makes this throw, and great. Now you have Tyreek Hill in open space, and also he just picked up a first down right there. So you're giving them these free yards. They're going to take these free yards, and Mahomes has gotten a lot better this season at, being a more complete quarterback, being able to take what the defense gives him instead of trying to get a home run ball every single time, which is bad news for Pittsburgh because it seems like their strategy is let's make them run these 10-play drives. But Pittsburgh just isn't that great at stopping this stuff. If quite frankly, if Mahomes is getting rid of the ball quickly, well then, okay, TJ Watt doesn't have time to do his thing and go over and get strip sacks and stuff. But also, they can still do stuff like this. Like, you don't have to work methodically just because the defense has 2 safeties deep. On this play, it's a cover 2 zone. But basically what Kansas City is going to do is it's almost like a pick play. You have 2 players who are going to run over the middle, another player runs to the outside, and basically, these kind of concepts can really work against man, but they can work against zone as well. In fact, really what I'm going to want you to take a look at when this play begins is going to be more about just the speed and how quickly everyone gets to their spot. I mean, watch how well this is just executed. I mean, Mahomes is able to make this throw to a wide open receiver right there. You're getting a big chunk play on that one. You're getting about 20 yards on that play, and it's easy. It's not difficult to do, and they were doing this stuff consistently. Like, when your best game plan is, hey, let's just hope that Andy Reid can't game plan against our basic zone defense, it's a tough game plan. And quite frankly, it's probably what Pittsburgh has to do. I don't know what else they can do. Like, that's kind of the issue is probably what I would do is just try to mix stuff up and throw a bunch of different coverages at the wall and hope that Mahomes makes some mistakes. But he doesn't do that too often. Like, he's pretty good at reading coverages. So you're kind of in some trouble. So yeah, all right, final predictions time. That's right, I'm not getting too in-depth into this stuff, but because that's pretty much all it was. Like, there wasn't a ton else. Like, really, quite frankly, Kansas City just ran like these zone busters play after play after play and just had success, and then that was the game. So these are my final predictions for the game. Kansas City, on average this season, scores 2.81 points per drive on the year. Pittsburgh gives up 2.02 points per drive on the year. I should mention, I think there's a perception about Pittsburgh's defense that's they're better than they are. Pittsburgh's defense it's currently 16th in points per drive, and it was 16th in EPA per play defensively. So those are probably my 2 favorite stats to look at how good a defense is, and they're middle of the road on both of that stuff. So they're not bad, and you could argue, hey, TJ Watt missed a couple of games, maybe that's a factor, but they're certainly not great. Specifically, their coverage has its issues. The first game, Kansas City, with Patrick Mahomes. This is just with Patrick Mahomes, not the Chad Henne stuff. They scored 33 points on 9 drives in the first game, which is a whopping 3.7 points per drive. That's about as high as you're ever going to see in a football game. Okay, you might see more, but that's really high. My prediction is I'll go a little bit lower than that. I'll say they'll score 34 points in an 11-possession game, 3.1 points per drive. I think, Pittsburgh will come up with something to try and slow down this Steelers offense. I don't know what you can do, but they'll try stuff. It may be my strategy of just throw everything at the wall, hope something sticks, hope you get a couple of turnovers. I have the Steelers losing to the Chiefs 17-34. That is a blowout, 17-point game. That's for a prediction. That's about as dramatic of a difference I'm going to say. I think there are some things Pittsburgh can do schematically on offense to score some points. I don't know what they can do on defense to really hold the Chiefs to that much, and that's the concern. It's just a talent thing, quite frankly. Like, at the end of the day, when you have this big of a talent disparity on one side of the ball, I don't know what Pittsburgh can do. Like, Kansas City scores more points than anybody. Pittsburgh has an okay defense, and I think it's a horrible matchup on top of that. So this is tough for Pittsburgh. Of course, because I say this, and because this is the one game that I really feel like is very much in one team's favor, this is, of course, going to be the game that is an upset, and somehow the Steelers win 100-0. That's how that always goes, right? And, listen, I don't want to say the Steelers have no chance, but I think that the odds of them winning really come down to they're going to need some turnovers, which, in fairness, Patrick Mahomes has been a bit prone to this season, and the Steelers are a team that can take the ball away a time or two, but they might need a TJ Watt strip sack or maybe even 2 to really have a chance in this one. That's what I think. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.